How we doing, boys?
Great.
Good.
Excellent.
Good. We are here to talk about 2024, 2025 ski reviews that have been hitting the internet, hitting the shelves of major bookstores. Free skier ends up in Barnes and Nobles, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Powder. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just going to kind of talk about how other outlets have approached ski reviews and talk about what we think is positive and things that we think are negative trends in ski reviewing. And yeah, we got a couple of them pulled up. We got Blister Mag right here and Free Skier pulled up on the screen right here. And we're just going to get into it, I guess. George, any major takeaways from testing overall this year or reviewing overall this year and what's out there?
I mean, so like, I guess like, you mentioned a few days ago what today's topic was going to be. And a word that all these brands use in their thing is like, I mean, even this one that we're looking at from Free Skiers here is buyer's guide. And if you think about a guide, that should be guiding you towards, this confusing landscape and helping you arrive at what you actually like. And to be honest, in like most of these, I don't feel like it's helping you narrow really anything down at all. And to go back, I mean, this is how the Ski Monster started. Like you have, like reading this Bent 100 here, I mean, that's a pretty generic description of what it is. And it doesn't give you any reference points of like something you might be familiar with or how to narrow something down. I mean, sure, it's a pretty versatile ski, but I mean, it says it does basically everything.
Yeah.
And doesn't say what it compares to and anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, how is that supposed to help me narrow something down?
Yeah.
And I really feel like, as far as the trend goes, I mean, that's something that a lot of these outlets have trouble with. And I feel like the reason they do is because they don't actually talk to the end user.
Yeah.
Like we do. And, to give, another, I mean, they're friends of ours, a competitor, but Ski Essentials, they get it more effectively because they actually deal with the end user, just like us.
Yeah.
And, I think in some of the reviews that we do, like when we're doing all those like one-to-one head-to-head comparisons, like, I mean, it's so people can have a reference point.
Yeah.
Like you might not be familiar with something, but like, oh, I know this about the Rustler. This is how this compares to the Rustler. And you understand where things end up getting placed.
Yep. Yeah.
And, I guess we're kind of hopping around here, but, Blister, at least in their guide, they have that spectrums thing where you can learn something. Okay, this is more like this than this ski or less, whatever. I mean, it's helping you narrow down a little bit.
Yeah. The Blister spectrum they do a good job with that. But to go back, I think what a lot of these outlets are missing is reference points. Like you need to compare it to something. Free Skier, for example, is really good at telling you what category the ski lives in. And that's about it. Yeah. It's not, I mean, once you get into the mid 90s or the 90 to 100 all mountain ski category, I mean, there's a ton of skis in there. There's skis that are really soft, forgiving, pivot quickly, and like to spend time off trail. And then there are skis in that category that prefer a groomer. So
to that point, like this thing that we're looking at here, so we're looking at basically the magazine. We have an Enforcer 99 on the left, Bent 100 on the right. How is this organized in any way? I mean, I see 99, 100. What happens if you go over a page?
Still 99s.
Okay. So, I mean, the skis.
We are getting more narrow as we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's organized by waist width.
Right. Which we've talked about a lot. Like organizing a ski category by waist width doesn't necessarily make things easier, because I think one of the examples we use relatively frequently is when you go into, what was that, last year we did the buyer's guide spectrum of our own.
Yeah.
And like powerful versus playful in skis. You can have skis that are 108 millimeters wide that are big, burly, powerful skis that carve really well on groomers. And there are skis that are narrow, like a QST 92 on paper. That should be a groomer ski. And it's basically just a more narrow, soft snow, call it a borderline powder ski that's just quicker.
Yeah. And I mean, that's where, you know, all this testing that we do all year round like comes into play, because there are some of those outlier situations where, yeah, you have this wider ski that absolutely rips and that kind of bucks the trend.
Yep.
Or the example we use all the time with the bent 90 versus bent 100, the bent 90 is way more of a park ski, isn't as, you know, confident or gripped as a bent 100.
Yeah.
It is kind of funny how frequently we get that question. I have a bent 100, looking for something maybe more East Coast friendly, thinking about the bent 90.
Yeah.
That comes up.
Yeah, we get
all the
asked to
time.
compare those two a lot. And I mean, that's one of the rare cases where it's always just like the bent 100 is just more capable across the whole mountain.
I know, and I think what's weird about that is like that's one of the, since it bucks the trend so much, it's almost like when we give that answer, it seems like, you know, maybe we don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, how could that be? It's like this way and everything else. I'm like, I know, but this one,
it's
a weird situation.
It's an outlier. And then, so another thing I'll say about ski reviews in general is I think it's so important that when a ski gets an upgrade, you need to compare it to the old ski. You need to
100%.
Which in this Enforcer 99 review, Free Skier did a good job with, let's see, in this second paragraph here, the Enforcer 99 is intended to be a Rocky Mountain skier's daily driver. All right, never mind. But, no, the first update you'll notice on this ski is the increased rocker in the tail and steeper rise in the tip than last year's model. This updated shape creates a more versatile ski that's able to slash and smear easily as it floats and deflects variable snow. Where the old Enforcer tail locked into a turn, the new Enforcer 99 is more maneuverable and has added forgiveness when the legs start burning. I mean, that's pretty good for somebody who's familiar with the Enforcer 100, which is a ton of skiers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, like I think what's annoying in some reviews is when they don't say what the feeling difference is going to be. Like, what am I going to feel getting onto the Enforcer 99 versus the previous one? Mm-hmm. They just say whatever like marketing technology mumbo jumbo that means absolutely nothing. And it might be the same thing. They just changed the word.
Yeah.
You know, for whatever reason, like how is this going to feel different?
Right. So you just brought up the problem I have with this Bent 100 review right here. So you learn it's a 100 millimeter ski, so it's versatile and good for the whole mountain. All right, great. Second paragraph. It's loaded with features to elevate your game, like next-gen Horizon 3D beveled tip and tail, which adds surface area to ensure you stay afloat. We learning anything here?
I learned that I have to Google Next Gen Horizon 3D.
Like that's not,
You know?
I don't think that's common terminology.
No.
That's straight out of Atomic's
Right.
catalog. The DuraCap sidewalls provide unmatched grip on firm groomers or when tackling icy conditions. Do we think the DuraCap sidewalls are why the Bent 100 is gripped well on groomers?
No, I mean, what's most interesting about that entire review is like the easiest call out you could make to why the Bent 100 for 2025 is a stronger ski than the older one is the thicker core.
Yeah.
And underfoot mostly.
It's beefed up.
It's a little beefed up and you've got a little more tail rocker, and they do a really good job like in the Enforcer 99 mentioning like those small construction changes. And here it seems more like someone from Atomic sent them the pitch deck,
The blurb.
on what's new with the Bent 100 as far as construction goes.
Well, and again, like, you know, the people writing this and doing all this, they don't ever talk to the end user of this thing. And when I went to my first magazine tests at Powder, you know, obviously it already had, you know, dude, maybe like 15, 14 years of ski retail under my belt. And we have like these roundtable discussions where we're talking about whatever product, and all they're bringing up is like the tech mumbo jumbo that the marketing guy from that respective brand said to him on the chairlift, and like, oh yeah, I really felt like this grip so much better because of the Duracap sidewalls. And I'm sitting there like, dude, what? You just said what?
Yeah.
Like you would never say that to someone buying a pair of skis. Like that just sounds crazy.
Nothing like when you make a first turn on a ski and you're like, damn, the Duracap sidewalls feel so good.
So good.
Yeah. I mean, this ski would be nothing.
Dude, you would be
the
floating
Duracap
so much better if
sidewalls.
you had that next gen 3D Horizon tech,
True.
dude.
You know why this ski is not floating well? No next gen Horizon tip.
And that's one thing like I definitely noticed when I got out there. And that's dude, that's what those round tables sounded like.
Yeah,
You're like, this is painful. And you're going to write something that these people that are trying to figure out how to buy skis are using, and it's not helping them at all. In fact, you're just making things more confusing. And that's my big issue with guides. They're supposed to make things less confusing, and you just threw a bunch of words that mean freaking nothing. And dude, the marketing people at the brands aren't helping with that either.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They're okaying some of this stuff.
Yeah. And this is why people are confused.
Yeah.
Because it's just not clear at all who each ski is for. And I mean,
could we just call something out on our website? And this was, I think, your guys' idea that we have on every single ski page, maybe even on snowboard pages. But who is this ski for? Who is this ski not for?
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's huge.
So Joe and I do the bulk of the ski writing about skis for our website, and we think it is so important to have that blurb. Who is this ski for? Who is this ski not for? And I would never write a review without at least, if you typically, there are a few skis that are an exception, but usually if you say something about a ski, you have to bring up what is sacrificed there.
Totally.
Yeah.
So if a ski is super powerful, that means it's not the most maneuverable ski. And that's the most basic thing you can tell somebody. And there are under 5 skis that's not true about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unicorns.
Yes.
There's very few unicorns out there.
For sure. And those 5 are in the same family.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
No, but I think what's also nice, you know, when you kind of, like if someone were to pull up our website and skip the meat of what you write, if they just scroll down and see in bold, who is this for, and then who is this not for, you could kind of get a general feel of where that ski is going to be good and not good in less than 2 sentences.
Well, the other thing you guys also have in there is like very clearly what is the technology update. You know, here's the things that changed. And we're straight up like, I don't know what your guys' wording is exactly, but, you know, nothing changed about the ski, graphic only or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's also kind of where we'll leave the marketing terminology. Like we have a technology update section, and if we're using marketing terminology, it's usually there. Like on this year's bout, we would have like new Horizon tip or whatever.
Yeah.
But also we try to include new Horizon tip, which means XYZ.
Yeah.
Or like ripstick for a good example. You mentioned, you know, the new shape on the top sheet, and then also the different, you know, side cut and what changing side cut does.
Yeah.
It's a little more narrow in the tip. It's a little bit wider in the tail than the previous version, less deflected in turbulence now. Mm-hmm. So even using their marketing terms or like carbon deck technology, you know, if you just say to someone, oh yeah, new ripstick has carbon deck technology, they have no idea what that means. So if you tell someone carbon deck technology help to increase torsional rigidity, get more grip.
Yeah.
Boom.
Right.
No, you just tell them there's carbon deck technology, and if they're confused, you laugh at them. But yeah, I mean, Free Skier's Guide, Buyer's Guide does a good job of telling you what category each ski is in. I think they would do themselves some favors.
I mean, back to that. What category are we in?
Skis. Well, that's
Good question.
oh shit.
So, I mean, like you get, okay, playful, lively, sure. dependent, damp. I mean, scroll through them. Like what does the rest of them say?
Let's go right.
Precise damp.
Oh, dude, you're going so
Anomaly.
fast. You went just so
Sorry,
fast.
sorry.
Slow down, dude. Anomaly 102.
I'll slow it down.
Commanding and damp. Does it say how it compares to the old? I guess it could really just be bona fide. That would be fine.
I don't see bona fide in there.
Yeah, I mean, because that ski is a lot less commanding than the bona fide.
Yeah.
I mean, it's way more accessible.
Yes.
And, to some people that would like, what I loved about the bona fide was that was a really powerful ski. And, the units on that ski that Blizzard was selling completely fell off a cliff because that wasn't what people wanted in skis anymore. And I don't think you're not doing Blizzard a service by like not pointing out that they've adjusted course on a ski that they just replaced.
Right.
And also like, okay, I had a Brahma Bonafide. Looks like that's gone. This is what replaces it.
Right.
We get that, but I don't think that the majority of people do.
Yeah.
Because that would be like one of the easiest things. Like if you're a Brahma Bonafide guy and you're like, hey, my Brahmas are getting tired. I really liked them. There wasn't a whole lot that I, would replace or wish they did differently. And it's easy for us to tell someone like, hey, that's great. Like this is your easy answer. This feels very similar to what you had. A few small updates get you a ski that's maybe a little less demanding at lower speeds, but you're not trading off any of the things that like a Brahma Bonafide customer loves. And they don't mention that in this.
No.
It's okay to like call back to a manufacturer's, call it heritage or DNA.
Story.
So someone knows that they're still getting a ski that they know they liked. You don't need to overcomplicate it for those skiers.
Right.
What do we got next to the list?
Shiva 10.
Shiva.
Responsive and seamless.
Yeah.
What does
seamless mean?
Easy.
I mean, like there's
Seamless, like no problems.
I mean, it's smooth. Smooth.
Yeah, no seams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a seamless toe box.
Remember those when they had those?
Yeah.
That was nice.
Those were cool.
Way to fuck that up, Solomon.
Tailored to aggressive freeride women who like to push the speed limit.
The Shiva 10 is equal parts burly and playful. And therein lies the problem.
I mean, it's yeah.
It's equally as burly and playful. It's equal.
Which again goes back to like you're going to confuse someone who might know what those two things mean as far as like relating to
go to the all right. So if we're just looking at the Shiva 10, let's go to the Black Pearl. Is the Black Pearl in there?
probably going to be way back the other way.
Yeah,
Back the other way. All right, sorry guys.
Black Pearl 94 is fine. Okay, what does this do? Which makes ski more carving oriented than playful. Okay, that's fair.
But this is
More
a
than-
ski that everyone.
But they just okay. At least they placed it though. Like this is more carving oriented than the playful freeride oriented Shiva series.
Yep.
That's great. That's
Gotta
great.
place
That's
it.
helpful.
Place it.
Oh, look at that compared to the previous Black Pearl 97.
Yeah.
There we go. That's good.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
Do that on more of the reviews. Whoever wrote that one, like, do that on the other ones, or just write the reviews for everybody else.
Assertive.
Dude, the anomaly is a little assertive.
Work hard, play hard. Oh, that's just an ad.
That's fly low.
Shout out Fly Low. Beep.
Uh,
If you push hard on the tail. If you push hard on the tail. Who's pushing hard on the tail? What does that even mean?
Me, I like to ski the backseat too.
doing wheelies, dude.
Yeah.
Turn shape.
Yeah.
Speed.
We've never really done a magazine read while on the podcast.
No.
So now I'm
It's
like
kinda-
trying to think if we should be filling dead space or like I should be singing a song or like.
Yeah, I think you should be feeling a song. Well, dude, I don't know. I think we've kind of illustrated the point. Like,
Yeah.
What's nice too, like it maybe not nice. It's interesting that some of them in this magazine do such a good job. Like even right here, the Cadillac like suspension. Everyone knows what a Cadillac feels like. Smooth, maintains solid connection with the snow, even in variable conditions. It tells you what it feels like. And you read about, you know,
Classic Jersey mobster saying that
know.
everybody knows what a Cadillac feels like.
Are you making fun of me?
Yeah.
But like there should be more consistency because they don't mention any of that in the Enforcer, which was fully overhauled. There wasn't. They don't mention when we were looking at the Bent for a while. There's no real feeling connection through the review.
Right.
but like, how helpful would it be? Like, if you're reading this, dude, like, I mean, even like just bringing up like the fact that the Anomaly is made in the exact same place as the Enforcer. They're both made in the same factory.
Yep.
It's the same ownership group,
Right.
whatever. And this compares. So anyone that maybe had, I don't know, you just like know that you're dealing with a quality thing. Let's bring that home. And then just understanding how it compares to this other reference point, like bringing that stuff up in a review is really helpful.
Yeah, because it's the same customers looking at those same couple of skis, and it's okay to like tell them these are.
And
not all that
anyone who
different.
follows closely knows that these are new skis.
Yeah.
And a ski collection like the Enforcer or the Black Pearl, which are two of the most popular collections of all time, those two being overhauled is huge fucking news.
Yeah.
Emphasize it.
It's like our Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Which actually, brings me to the most egregious statement I saw in any of these, any of the 2025 reviews or guides or previews. But on July 4th, 2024, USA. Powder Magazine published their 2025 ski sneak peek preview. And they had to say in the first paragraph, despite seeing plenty of innovation in other sectors of ski gear, 2024 has actually been a pretty quiet one when it comes to new skis.
What?
Many brands have opted to get at least another year out of their current lineups. Which ones? But a few things stood out. This past April, Powder spent a week testing next year's finest wares on the slopes of Sunshine Village, Alberta. And here's what is fresh to the lineup.
So what were we expecting to see? Because this is arguably the biggest year in skis since I've been doing this.
Right.
I mean, you have basically every brand's flagship models got overhauled for this year.
Yeah.
So you have Soul is essentially back. Soul Sunder 92, 102.
Yep.
Arcade replaces Experience.
Yep.
I mean, flagship Experience on the way out. Arcade is coming in. The Arcade skis are freaking sick.
Yep.
They nailed it. Nordic Enforcer and Santa Ana.
Yep.
Full families redone.
Yep.
Like full new molds, full constructions. How many skis is that? Just between those?
8 or 9.
8 or 9 new skis from Nordica in their most important thing.
Yep.
Brahma Bonafide are gone.
Yeah.
That's replaced with Anomaly. New name.
Black
Pearl. That's also full family redone. And, to like what we said earlier about like Nordica and Blizzard being sister companies or whatever, the fact that that whole group had that many new skis come out in a season is insane.
Yep.
And their most important models.
Yeah.
I mean, the Black Pearl is Blizzard's best-selling ski by far.
Yep.
The fact that that gets changed is terrifying to Blizzard, retailers, and gives outlets like us stuff to talk about.
Right.
That's a huge change.
Yeah.
This is kind of like if someone, when they found out that Paul Castellano was killed by John Gotti and John Gotti took over the major New York crime family, that'd be like someone saying not much has changed in the mob world.
Yeah, right.
100%.
That's perfect.
It might be a shorter list to say what isn't new.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a brand. I mean,
Even
I
the
guess
Mantras
every
new.
brand has something new come every year, but
No, this year is big.
I can't think of a single brand that didn't have a major shift in their lineup.
Solomon had
The Depart.
so they had say, how do you say it? How do you say it? Say it all nice in French like.
The Depart.
So they had that guy.
The Depart.
Stance got overhauled.
Two
That
years
was
ago.
last year.
Oh,
2 years ago.
sorry, Solomon.
Yeah, what? QSTX, was that new for this year?
QSTX is new.
I'm getting my years confused because we tested those QST prototypes in Alta 2 years ago.
Yep.
So my ears are a little jumbled up, but
Ripsticks.
that must be new. Every single ripstick is new.
Stokely Monteros.
Stokely Monteros.
Yep. K2
Armada
has
declivities.
a ton of new like park stuff coming. They have the KF. The Reckoner got overhauled.
Yeah.
All new declivities was kind of scary.
All new declivities.
Yeah. Oh, Armada getting rid of the regular JJ 116.
Yeah.
It's just JJ
Which
UL.
is one of the most iconic powder skis ever. That's
I mean,
big news.
put everything on the map, and that is now, the ARV 112. New Ace with.
Fisher's new curves.
Yeah. We said Bent 100, but Bent 120, one of the best selling powder skis, that was redone.
Yep.
I mean, every heavy hitting ski from a brand got redone. I mean, I don't know
But
what
many
else has to
brands
happen.
have opted to get at least another year out of their current lineups. Also, if you want to, the credibility of this article isn't that bad, guys. Just look at the first option on the list right here. Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong one. Sorry. Damn it. Best all mountain skis of 2025. This is the same outlet, Powder Magazine. Just wait for it. The Bent 100.
Is that last year's graphic?
Yes.
Oh,
Whoops.
yep.
Yep.
Lighter weight.
And then it wasn't, I'm not in the wrong article because this is Anomaly 102, which didn't exist last year. So
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry. Powder. What are
Best
we
for
doing?
skiers looking for a lighter weight, do it all. Oh my God. Wow, that really narrowed it down.
Yep.
Between that and a 0G.
Yeah. Dude, go back up. What do we have there? Making the most of otherwise mediocre days.
And that is for an ARV 106. If it's
So-
a mediocre day at Pat's Peak.
So the East Coast where we are, we are known for mediocre days. We got a
Yes.
lot of those. That's what makes powder days so special.
Right.
These skis couldn't be any worse for East
Making
Coast
the
mediocre
most.
days.
Out of a mediocre day.
What do you think the
What
best
a
ski
joke.
for a mediocre day would be?
Well, they actually have the list for us right here. The best for inbounds powder skiing.
Yep.
What's inbounds? How is inbounds powder skiing any different than
It gets tracked out, I think. I think that's what it means.
Yeah.
not when you know where the lines are, man?
Women specific.
Freestyle focus. Best for
Best for
hard charging X racers. Nordica Enforcer 104. Nordica Santa Ana.
You know what I do
102.
like here? I like how there's consistency. Like, because if it was the best for
steep
steep terrain and variable snow in the M100, the M Pro 98 would be the same. So I'm glad they did that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Best for hard charging X racers. Really? Maybe. World's best crud buster.
That's relatively true.
Yeah.
That actually is true.
M7.
Kind of nailed
Do you remember
it.
how excited Garrett was after his first day on the M7 at
Dude,
Loon?
the M7 is sick.
You
Just
came
got to
back
know how to ski it.
grinning ear to ear. I was
Yeah,
like,
I was excited about it. Skied it in a shorter length.
Dude, I just
Felt like-
can't get over the best for making the most out of mediocre days.
ARV 106 and the ARW 106, dude.
Best edge grip for rallying hardpack?
I
was waiting for you to see that.
Are you
I was
serious?
highlighting it. All right.
What
so
the fuck is that?
First of all, what exactly
So-
is rallying hardpack?
I think it's when you're on hard pack and you're trying to rally.
Like,
dude, what does that mean?
Rally. The pitcher's name is Sally.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you wearing a rally cap when you're doing this?
Yes.
What is that? I mean, like, dude, it's a surprisingly powerful ski for, what it is.
Yep.
Like the
I'm going
graphic,
down to the
especially
review.
this year, what you would think it's like
Totally
way more
agree.
playful.
Non-stop edge grip.
Oh
when
no, the edge grip
rallying.
stops. There's a speed limit.
Hard pack. It's a fucking freestyle ski.
Well,
It's a sick freestyle ski, but
I mean, it's more powerful than a Bent 100 for sure. Again, they don't give that context because that would be helpful. So why do that?
you mean the ski that everybody knows?
Yeah. Let's make it more confusing for people. And then, like this is such a disservice because this person who doesn't have a ski shop near them, they're going to order whatever. I mean,
They're
maybe
gonna
from
think
us,
they're getting
they've
a
already made up
carving
their
ski.
mind.
Yeah.
And then like it doesn't deliver.
Also, what is up with the fucking term dad ski? I think we're overusing it.
it's
This
only
isn't your average
ski to
dad
me
ski.
The only dad ski to me is the previous experience because that's what you sold my dad.
Yeah. I mean,
what
that
my
was
dad
the
skis
ultimate dad ski.
Yeah.
Yeah.
George, do you feel like now that you are a dad, your skiing preferences have changed at all?
No.
Kind of shoots that whole dad ski theory in the foot then.
Average
Yeah.
dad ski.
Matt's a dad. I don't think his skiing preferences have changed.
Yeah.
No. Like I get what the term is saying. Just like
Yeah.
a dad ski, a guy who wants to go out there and casually rip and really isn't looking for high performance in any, just wants casual, right?
I'm not sure what dad ski means because we work with a lot of dads in here and they want good.
So
good
if you're
skis.
on a dad ski, does that mean you're more fertile than?
Oh my God.
dude, so they say dad ski. Did they say mom ski in here anywhere?
No, that's
Yeah.
also a sexist
Yeah, a little bit.
ski industry trend right there.
Yeah. Dad
Where's
ski.
mom ski?
Such a dad ski. Oh my gosh.
Precisely tuned sports car. All mountain jibbing and on-piece carving performance.
Those two things go hand in hand, right?
Yeah.
On-piece carving performance. Everybody who's looking for on-piece carving performance is also a nonstop jibber, right? All mountain jibbing.
It bridges the gap. Dude.
Okay.
But still.
I would like to shout out Rosignol for the top sheet on this, though.
The top sheet on this is
where
so gas.
Where they're headed with graphics this season and then the coming seasons.
We're excited.
They're on to something.
Yeah.
It looks like those cups.
Dude, you know
Yeah.
what the most important part of
does.
Rossie's, like, they're on the up and up graphics wise, and they're using the rooster more and more.
Yep.
The rooster is so important.
We need more roost.
Yeah, more cock.
Jesus.
I gotta stop talking.
Cut that out,
don't
Kirby.
edit that out. I think it was funny.
All right, so yeah, sorry, Powder, but do better. What else we got?
You we were talking about some of the boot reviews
Oh
that are
God,
that are out there.
no,
You don't want to bring that up?
I don't know, George.
Why not? I mean, like boot reviews are kind of fucking weird.
Yeah,
Feet are weird.
Nobody's ever done a successful.
yeah,
I mean,
let's-
we're doing a lot of tooting our own horn in this episode, but if you don't like it, whatever, deal with it. The only good boot review that's ever been made was released on our YouTube a week ago.
Yeah, it was the first. Yeah, it was really
It was
the first
the
comparison.
first one that tells you how the boot is gonna feel when you put it on your foot. Seems pretty basic.
Well, talking objectively about it, which often boots don't get talked about. You know, everyone has different foot shapes. Everyone has different preferences. Everyone has different tolerances for
Compression.
what they want and don't want in a ski boot. But when you line up, 10, 15 mid-volume boots, they do fit differently.
Yep.
Even with, George and I have very different feet. We feel relatively the same things in ski boots if we're talking about the way the boot fits, not what we want. And I think what's lacking in like the boot review department, you know, call it globally, is you read a lot about the boot, but you don't learn really anything about the boot.
Right. I mean, but like, you know, you mentioned like things being objective and like, you know, not only do we put on so many boots, you know, ourselves, you know, all season long, all year long, really.
Yep.
But we're getting all that feedback from customers, and it's so consistent. Like, we know that this fits this way more so than this one, or in comparison to this one, and all those things are true. And that's just something that no media outlet has put out yet. And I mean, people just needed those benchmarks. And as you were going through that boot comparison, Joe, I mean, like this Speed Machine fits like in comparison to this boot this way,
yep.
And then move down the line, and someone could kind of parse that information together. I mean, even boot fitters from other stores. I mean, like, it's going to make them do their job better. They'll be better at boot fitting.
Yeah, and boots are one of the more like overcomplicated things out there to buy.
Absolutely.
And trying to make that more of like call it a tangible process, something that's easy to wrap your brain around, just makes everyone happier on the hill.
Yeah.
Mindbender 140.
Yeah. It's the stiffest touring-enabled boot.
It has the highest number, but it's not the stiffest. And
that's another thing too, is all of these boots.
To be fair, they do say touring-enabled boots that K2 has ever made.
Oh, true.
That's called hedging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Careful.
But it would be nice if you kind of talk about, you know, how all of these boots flex differently, feel differently. And all of these brands and manufacturers like generally know where their boots live themselves, but they aren't doing a good job kind of like percolating those ideas down to the end user. Like, having sat with K2 boot manufacturers, engineers, they know themselves that their boots are known to be softer flexing, a little bit more forgiving. Their liners are comfy. They know that.
Yep.
It would be really nice if in these reviews, you know, they mentioned like, hey, this is a stated 140 flex, but it's not, you know, an out of reach 140 flex. It's relatively soft, comfortable-ish. There's no like comparison between.
Dude, let's talk about this. Like, dude, just at the top, and last 97 to 100.
Oh, variable last.
You know,
I
so
gotta step out.
So this is, you know, that's a story that BOA wants them to say, and they went along with it and said it. And the reason we know that is because BOA asked other brands to say that that have BOA on their boots, and they said, you know, no, because that doesn't make sense. The last of that boot is 100 millimeter last. Now, listeners might be wondering, like, okay, Solomon has kind of like the same thing. They say 100 to 106 on like the Supra,
yeah,
right? But the difference in the Supra is they're saying that the last with custom shell can go out to a 106.
Right.
You know, you can make the boot a little bit bigger. Right. But it's really a 100 millimeter lasted boot that you can stretch to make bigger. You can do that with any boot. But like, this isn't going from a mid-volume fit to a low-volume fit.
Right.
It's already like a very high volume, mid-volume.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess we should also say like last numbers are kind of made up. Mm-hmm. I mean, those aren't.
Can you expand on that?
I mean, they're like so much stuff in ski boots. Like, if you actually measured the inside of every 100 millimeter lasted boot, there's a range. They're not the widest results. Part of the forefoot isn't 100 millimeters in every single ski boot.
Yeah,
it changes, and you know they do that to sell more units.
Yeah.
Like if the boot fitter is telling them, oh, you need to be in a 100 millimeter last, let's say, they grab another 100 millimeter last. It's really more like a 104.
Yep.
You know, but it says 100 on the box. They're like, this fits so much better. But yeah, you're in the mid volume, you're in the right thing. But it's just like, if you're not like, I guess, as familiar with these products as everyone here is, then you don't know some of that stuff. And you also don't realize that that's just bullshit.
Fugazi.
I think
Yeah.
the clearest like proof that doesn't actually make sense is we were talking with, was it Manzer?
Yeah.
And the interior mold of their prime boots or their ultra boots, whether it has boas or buckles on it, is exactly the same. So you're just changing what's on the outside. The inside isn't changing at all.
Yep. Yep.
You can't change the last by buckling or boaing.
Dude, I think this just does a disservice to people. Like, you know, like you might have a person that's like thinking they're in a low volume foot. Their feet are more sensitive at the beginning of the season because their tolerance for compression's low. So like, you know what? I can make this thing tighter if I need to, or this is going to resist pack out differently because I can make it 3 millimeters tighter, and no other boot says that.
Yeah.
So then it isn't any different. It's the same. And, yeah, it's just a disservice. And they can say whatever they want with the toe dam thing, but that's not really doing what they say.
The what thing?
They're how they changed the toe dam to the boot.
Yeah. So, I mean, I also just think we could talk about having a list of the best ski boots is just, it's titled the best ski boots of 2025.
How many LVs do we have on this list? 1, 2, Shadow LV.
1 second. Let me get this point out before I forget.
Okay.
I just think it's problematic to do like overall best ski boots list because it's so subjective. It's not every ski boot's going to work differently for every single skier. So how are you going to have an objective list?
Yeah, the best boot for you is different than the best boot for me.
Anyway.
Yeah, it'd have to be
way
like
stiffer.
the best boot if you're looking for this, and then it'd be categories, because the first two on this list are extremely different. We go from 3-piece to 2-piece, linear flex to progressive flex.
But they both say LV 130.
They both say LV 130. Yeah.
All right. Sorry. I cut you off trying to count the LVs, but
Yeah, so 2 LVs, and then you go into touring boots.
yep.
I mean,
A touring boot and then a touring capable boot.
yeah, it's just spaghetti at a wall. It's so much of everything.
Zero G Tour Pro.
Phenom. The Phenom is a 3-piece boot that's turning heads in the industry thanks to a number of innovative features.
Heat moldable.
I don't think that's innovative.
I mean, this really just feels like an ad to me. Like, these are the brands that paid,
Yep.
you know?
Pay to play. Dalbella Cabrio LV free 105 women's. Why'd the women's hybrid boot make it on? And
Revolve KF.
Sportiva.
Really?
We got touring boots. Shift Alpha. I mean, the Big Perp actually belongs on this list. Come on.
Is that what you're calling that boot now? The Big Perp?
Yeah. The purple boot from Solomon, dude. Yeah. But yeah. I also have this Shadow 130 review pulled up just because this is another example of something that just dives so deeply into the brand's technological marketing terms, ultimately making it more confusing. The Shadow 130 LV is an all-mountain offering that revolutionizes what a 2-piece downhill boot has to offer, thanks to suspension blade and dual pivot tech. Thank you, suspension blade and dual pivot tech. You're really changing the game. What does that mean? I guess the suspension blade replaces traditional spine bolts with molded piece of plastic that delivers buttery smooth flex and springy rebound that'll have you charging harder than ever. Any thoughts? You guys learn anything?
It reminds me of the first time Lang was explaining to me what the suspension blade and dual pivot was, and I was still confused and had to have a number of conversations to actually understand what it is and where they got the idea from and how it works.
What was that whole mountain bike thing they were talking about? You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that graphic, and that's not resonating with me as well. Like it didn't help me understand anything better, like what makes me understand suspension blade better. Like if we're looking at this boot, like you have the lower pivot, the one below the traditional rivet on the side is lower, and then you have the top of the suspension blade. You have a larger distance there.
Yeah.
Than you do in a traditional boot. So basically, and you can feel this when you ski it, but like you have less energy going through the two bolts in the back. Everything just feels smoother.
Yeah.
And helps skiers that struggle to get forward get a little more energy to their tips more quickly. But that doesn't say any of that in here. And it kind of is like, it's a little lazy, I would say. Like, if you're, let's go on this little bit of a rant here. Like, we all wear a lot of hats here, right? And part of the reason we're better at reviewing stuff is, one, we're testing it all the time, and two, we're dealing with the end user all the time.
Yep.
And we have a lot to do. If we just had to do this, and we could you just would be testing gear and doing whatever, and like working with the engineers and the product managers to understand it. Like these reviews really should be a lot better than ours. They shouldn't. I mean, that's all you got to do.
Yeah.
You don't have an online retailer or a large brick and mortar store to do.
Right. And it's like ironic that not having that makes it harder to review, evidently, because I think it gets harder to see the products for where they're positioned.
Yeah. Dude, I feel like we've gone a little scorched earth on this.
I know. Is this allowed?
I mean, dude, I think some of the stuff needs to be said. Like, just do a better job. Like, I mean, we truly care about this business, this industry, and if we want this industry to be sustainable and healthy, like everyone has to do a good job. Mm-hmm. It's small, it's weather dependent. We all have to work together, but like you said earlier, Garrett, just do a better job. Everybody can do better. Right. But like there's the people that are striving to do better. And, again, I'm going to give another shout out to Jonathan at Blister.
Yeah.
And Jeff and Bob at Ski Essentials that are working like pretty hard to do better. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we're all humans, we're going to make a couple mistakes. I mean, we're reviewing so many things,
right?
Mistake here and there, but it wasn't, didn't try to do that. I mean, in reviewing skis, I mean, I've been on the record saying this, I don't know how many times. It's freaking hard. Yeah. I mean, some of the differences between things are small, and I think it's been really pretty helpful, even talking with Jonathan about some skis, and we can kind of like, we're both not sure maybe where like a ski would be positioned, and like, oh dude, maybe, and we talk about it further, with another educated person, like, yeah, this leans a little more this way. And then that ultimately is going to make the end user happier.
Right.
But you only get to have those conversations with the people that like actually give a fuck.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not many people.
Yeah. I just think we need to care about, I think it's important for people to be able to understand ski gear, to be excited about it. And
it's what's going to make or break the end user's day.
Yeah. And this is like the lack of quality gear guides and reviews. You hear a lot of people being like, what's the difference between the ski I bought 5 years ago and new skis?
Yeah.
There's a lot of that mentality in skiing. People not updating their gear because they think shit doesn't change. And
and it's tough to understand that things are changing when you try and read about something. You're like, this sounds exactly like what I read when I bought my stuff 5 years ago.
Yep.
Well, yeah, and I mean, like there was an article that somebody sent me last week that Ski Magazine posted about how ski boots haven't changed at all since the 70s.
What?
Like, dude, they've changed a lot. Like
Yeah.
certain things aesthetically on the outside look the same, and the reason why Langs look the same now is that brand silhouette that they're trying to have.
Yep.
I mean, you can think of plenty of cars that have that silhouette. Like
Right.
if you look at the silhouette of a Land Rover,
Yeah.
you know you're looking at a Land Rover. I mean, that's some brand identity stuff that Lang has kept intact. But I guess just to, round out like what has changed in ski boots, let's just get that out there. But fits are way more anatomical in all volumes. They're not just paying attention to a low or a medium volume. High volumes have gotten a lot of attention in the last 5-6 years or so that they didn't at all, because those are really just rental boots.
Attention.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
the brands are like really investing money into high volume ski boots,
Yep.
the wider fitting boots.
For sure.
You don't have excess material where you don't need it. So much has gone into liners, like making those more anatomical, making them more customizable, and then also making it easier for boot fitters of a variety of levels to be able to manipulate shells.
Right.
And then doing all of that while making boots perform better.
Right.
And in old boots, the reason why people have a bad taste in their mouth about boots being too stiff, it wasn't that the old boots were too stiff, it's that they just didn't flex well. They had like kind of a blocky feel to them, that they would get confused as like being stiff, felt like you hit your shin against something. So now people don't think they're supposed to be in stiff boots, and that's actually going to make your life easier. It's going to be less work, not more.
Yeah.
Totally.
I mean, so much has changed. And, like I was doing a boot fit yesterday or the day before, and someone was like, so much has changed in boots, blah, blah. And I was like, honestly, like what makes all of us boot fitters here look so much smarter is the brands have done such a good job of making them fit better that if you haven't gotten boots in 6 years, we look like super smart because the change is noticeable. I mean, it's undeniable how much boots have changed.
Right.
Even though the outside looks similar, they're not.
Yeah.
When do you think, I mean, you've been fitting boots for a long time. Has it just always gotten, I mean, obviously you've gotten better at it,
Yeah.
but has it gotten that much easier like since you've been doing boot fitting to like get someone in a boot and there's less pushback questions
Yeah.
because the boots just fit well?
Yeah. I mean, this trend as well. I mean, like all the boots that are like available now for the most part, those have all been recently overhauled molds. I mean, we're not working with any duds. I mean, like in a lineup of boots, like, dude, you could think of, I mean, name any brand. It doesn't matter. Like there were some bad fitting, Nordicas in a lineup, Del Bellos, Technicas, whatever. There were boots that just didn't fit well and poisoned the boots that did fit well and like just kind of hurt the overall, I think perception of ski boots in general, because not everyone was going into, the most anatomical boots. There were boot molds that needed to be redone and weren't, or they just kind of missed on, or it was neglected a little bit more. And a lot of that was for the people with wider feet. Like there was less invested into those boots. And to give Technica some praise, I mean, they've done a great job in their mock series of, like even like go back to, you're on this list here of the best, like almost all the boots on here are low volume fits. So they like the marketing of ski boots makes low volume seem like that is the coolest thing.
Yeah.
And in the mock boots, the Mach 1, LV, MV, HV, they all look the same. They all have the same bells and whistles. They're all badass. You get to be badass and be in a high volume boot.
Right.
Yep.
Just as cool as the other one. It looks the same.
Yeah.
And like, that is one of the things that I think has made that series of boots wildly successful.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I don't even remember how we started on that topic. That was, how long did I just rant for? Like an hour?
Yeah, that was a solid. We're at 3 hours now. One last thing I'll say about here, though, just because it's right in front of me, it made me think of it. The published last on a Lang Shadow LV is 97 millimeters. there's a perfect example of last not being completely true, because if you put on other low volume boots out of the box, they fit tighter than a
Totally.
Shadow.
Yeah, a mock LV at a 98 last is snugger fitting than that.
Right. This is one
Shadow
of the
LV.
more generous fitting low volume boots. And this is the boot I ski in too. So, I mean, obviously it belongs on any list, but
yeah. And there's so much room on top of the foot in the Shadow LV.
oh, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's
You like that?
nice. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'm just thinking about my Shadow. Sorry. Cool. So, anything else we're looking to cover here?
Oh, man. I mean, if you could tip me into a rant on anything pretty easily.
All right. Sounds good.
But
What are we thinking? Like,
You get George all fired up first thing in the morning, dude.
yeah.
I'm warmed up though. I'm ready to go.
So Powder Magazine said that this was not a big year for ski updates. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
Get you going again.
Yeah. Yeah. This is
I think
huge year for skis.
I think what's also like we were talking about how, you know, we look boot fitters everywhere look good because boots have gotten so much better. The same thing can be said for skis too. Like these manufacturers are trying
Yeah.
to
it's
build skis
so hard
that-
to sell somebody a bad ski.
that cater to, you know, it still has all the top end performance that the most aggressive skier needs, but they're trying to allow things to be more accessible. Again, trying to like increase user happiness. Like you can give a really aggressive skier an Enforcer 99. You could also give someone who skied a handful of times an Enforcer 99, and the ability for skiers of all levels to feel performance in skis and access performance without feeling like the ski is punishing or forgiving, or then like that aggressive skier feeling like they've dumbed a ski down is huge.
Yeah, and like that's a great point, and that is a massive change for 2025.
Yeah.
You know, and it's making, you know, there's less of a, because of what the manufacturers have done with their flagship models, making them more accessible to intermediate or less advanced skiers. There's less of a place for those quote unquote intermediate skis.
Yeah.
You know, if you buy that, this is it's kind of weird. It's almost like where ski boots were, you know, it's kind of following the line of ski boots. You're making things so much more accessible and comfortable for so many more people. But
I love it.
no, the brands are doing a great job, and I'm honestly like I'm a little ticked off that Powder said that, because this is the coolest year in skis. Like this is a badass year.
Yeah.
And we're
it
not
should
going to have
be-
this big of a year for
the
a few
news,
years.
the headline should be, "This is the most exciting year for new skis ever."
Yeah, it's easy
Ever.
to draw some hype to it.
Since the spatula.
Yeah.
Yeah. since the first ski.
Well,
know.
thanks for having me, Garrett. I
Thanks for
wasn't
doing it.
expecting this to be so therapeutic, but I feel a lot better.
All right, good.
We
That's
did
what
this-
I'm here for.
Garrett woke up this morning, picked me up. He said, "We're going to do this one for George."
Yeah. Yep. Dude,
I'm going to cancel my therapy appointment this afternoon at 4. I don't think I need it.
this is
Sorry, Hollis.
what it is, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, so also I've been thinking something, dude. So we live right near Cambridge, Massachusetts. Going to therapy there is kind of like living near like Alaska and skiing there.
Interesting.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like the best of the best, you know?
Yeah. Therapy in the Chugach Range.
Yeah.
I like it, Garrett.
Didn't Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting, he went to therapy over at Bunker Hill, right? With Robin Williams?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to park over there
Kind of
for my virtual thing. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Yeah. It's not your fault.
It's not your fault. It's your fault, Joe.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll end there.
Awesome.
Actually, Joe, I kind of wanted to hear about your ski boot dream last night.
It was, I don't know.
It's so relevant.
It's
You're
not.
having dreams about people fighting you on ski boots.
It was
right.
it was a dream.
See
It was
you,
a
George.
dream that
Thanks for coming.
wasn't a nightmare. It was more just like an ultra realistic. Someone was trying to tell me that a 100mm lasted boot was a low volume fit,
Oh my God.
and it was traumatic.
Yeah.
I woke up in a cold sweat.
Didn't get another wink of sleep?
I opened up my boot bag to make sure that my LVs were not actually 100mm. I
Yeah.
measured them.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, I think this is a good place to wrap.
I think you want to get out of here.
I'm
just going to sit here and talk. No, I'm kidding.
Um,
Thank you for doing it.
when is this dropping?
Tomorrow.
Awesome. Tomorrow.
Yeah.
TSM 10th birthday party at the Royale.
Yes. Good
Get
call.
tickets.
We got to plug this stuff. We have a
got-
huge week
we have a
right
big
now.
week.
We got this dropping, which is just massive. And then
We got a little movie premiere here
Wednesday night,
Wednesday
open
night
to the public.
with Technica Blizzard, and then
That's going to be a party.
Yep.
Drinks will be flowing.
our 10th birthday party with Boston Ski and Sports Club at the Royale. Get tickets at bssc.com. Click
Yep.
into the link. We have a QR code somewhere. I think if you go on our link tree, we have them in store,
Yep.
and there will be some cool gear to look at. Brands will be there, DJs, maybe a little bit of a surprise DJ appearance by someone that works here.
Mm-hmm.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
We'll see you at the party.
See you at the party. Thank you for listening.